I also wanted to talk really quickly about SiriusXM acquiring Pandora. $3.5 billion deal recently that happened, and this is creating the world's largest audio entertainment company. Now, when I read this, I was fascinated because number one, as a millennial, I don't use Pandora. And number two, as a millennial, I don't use SiriusXM. I'm on Spotify, I'm on Apple Music, I'm on YouTube. Those things, they seem kind of like people used them 10, 15 years ago. Do you know a lot of people that use SiriusXM in their car still, or?
No, actually I don't. And if I do, it's usually a free service that comes with the car, and they have it for a year. The only people I know that used to subscribe to SiriusXM were people who worked out in the bush, out in the boonies, didn't have access to regular radio. So if you're way up in the Northwest Territories, underneath the Arctic Circle there, perfect. You can get radio, and you can listen to Howard Stern, and away you go. But
that's
I think
amazing.
You're right.
You can really get SiriusXM up in the Northwest Territories?
Oh, yeah. Because it's satellite-based. So I think that there will always be a market for satellite-based radio. And perhaps it will grow in areas like the second world instead of the first world, places where people are becoming more affluent, but maybe they don't have access to radio and internet like we have here. However, I absolutely agree with your insight as to millennials, and even myself. I'm a Generation Xer, and I don't listen to regular radio. I don't watch regular TV. I use streaming services like Netflix, and I would use Hulu if we could get it here in Canada.
Oh, you still don't have Hulu?
No.
Wait a minute, though. But do you use Pandora? Because I sure don't.
No, we actually can't even get Pandora here, but I use Spotify, and I'm seriously thinking about going to YouTube Music. Because I am an Android person and a Google user, and that's just one more service that falls underneath the umbrella of Google. And so to me, that just seems like a no-brainer to just migrate that way. But I think you're right. This could be a bad buy, but I think SiriusXM realized they're on the way out. They're seeing a drop in subscribers. They see the internet as the savings to their to making money, and this is something that they could afford. $7 billion is a lot of money.
I wish I could afford that.
Wait a minute, $3.5 billion is what they paid.
3.5. Chump change.
Yeah, chump change, right? But that being said, I think that it's they're betting on the wrong horse. Now, what's interesting to get into that streaming media business, there's another article here that you posted that says streaming accounts for 75% of music industry revenue. Now, that's in the U.S. alone, but that's huge, Dan. Mm-hmm. I think that really shows they're betting on the wrong horse by going with radio-based listening to music. So Pandora, although when it first came out, was neat because it would say, oh, you like this song? And here's a radio station I've created. Well, Spotify does that, and Spotify makes recommendations and says, hey, I think you're going to like Swedish country music. And I was like, Swedish country music? I don't think so. And then I listened to it, and I was like, this is great. This is not ABBA meets Willie Nelson. Like, it's alternative, it's cool, and guess who knew I would like it? Spotify.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. One of the most fascinating things in this article about the streaming music is that, did you know that vinyl is 13% of the sales now? And that's almost as much as CDs or more. That's insane, right? I have a few friends that listen only to vinyl, and, it's kind of a thing where you go into their house and they have the vinyl on.
Yeah.
Do people do that up there too?
Oh, sure. I mean, it's an audiophile thing, and it's retro, and it's kind of cool. It's kind of hipster, and maybe the sound is a little bit better, but really CDs are retro too. So
Yeah, they are.
to be able to say, CDs are 12%, they used to be 100 or 95%. And to say vinyl is 13, it used to be 100, right? Until cassette tapes came out. So I still see, vinyl's increasing because of its audiophile appeal and its retro appeal, but it's not going to grow much more than that. It's not going to take over the music industry. We are going digital, and I think what we're going to see in the future is streaming apps that are going to get their packets of music in better quality, smaller chunks, so we're not using all of our data. And when 5G networks come out, it's just going to be that much easier to stream.
That's true. I have a funny story. Yesterday, a patient was telling me she wanted to get me this DVD for me to watch.
Yeah.
And, I guess there's this DVD store somewhere in Los Angeles that she knows about. She was going to get it for me, and I told her, I don't have a DVD player. I mean, you have your PlayStation 4. I don't have a PlayStation.
Yeah.
Literally, my laptop doesn't have a DVD player. My Roku doesn't. I mean, I couldn't play it if I tried. So it's interesting how we're all shifting away from physical media, and now, that streaming music is 75%. That's fascinating.